down at the Papis. With the Papis, they have a lot of objective control. They've got a lot of objective burn, but not great objective secure. So they're going to have to take care of Pretty Prime on that Cupón if they want to start burning those objectives.
Well, it's time to see if Freshly Forged can keep the momentum going and grow on all of that potential that the names of that roster brings up against the Papis in game number 1. Mage, in the sense that with Cupón for Freshly Forged, I feel like you're going to have plenty of control, long-range poke maybe in that middle lane, and some good objective secure in these fights.
Oh, Fail's going to go in on Warchi here, but Okeanos already too low. That's going to be first blood, and Fails is going to follow. No jump for him. He's dead to rights. Good use of patience on no purification beads. And what I was going to stun out multiple people, you can still punish people for grouping up a little bit too much. I think the Papis have a pretty solid comp.
Collapse could be in here. It is a 3 versus 2. Kalas is low. Warchi trying to get himself out of this one on the back of an early kill in this game, looking to avoid a death on his side. He is going to be out of range, but between the tier 1 and tier 2 towers, no area for escape. It's just a matter of who finds the kill, and it is Fails on the Hoonbats who's going to get the first kill in this game for Freshly Forged. Think twice. But I still kind of stand by that. I think Marcus has done a good enough job to find himself a lead. Warchi is going to take to the skies, and that's an easy kill onto Okeanos. Kalas is going to get a couple of roots on his way out, but a Vanish takes him up into the air. A nice stun, but he's plenty tanky enough.
This is going to be in trouble this game. And look at Warchi. He's gunning for him right away, but he's in trouble now.
He does take to the skies and plug some good damage down. Not enough to get rid of Kalas. That's a good Fear No Evil from Fails to disengage some of this fight, but Chekio, he rejoins in the backline, grabs a kill on a Kalas, and makes good on the setup that Warchi was able to find, but the fight still maybe rages on with Fails dropping down. Draco Marino, he's chosen the wrong path back into the duo lane. Pops the ultimate and is able to jump off. Spirit of the Nine Winds flies through, but is not able to save the life of Pretty Prime, who ends up dropping. Chekio is still here. What a collapse from the Papis. You pull 1 kill back if you're Freshly Forged, but a clean 5 from the Papis and a double kill from Chekio to top it up.
On what, 6K already? 7K nearly? I mean, you're in a bad spot for sure, so you're really looking to find people who are being over-aggressive, and maybe it's Warchi, but doesn't seem that way. Marcus on the way for the little bit of late-game cleanup. Marcus finds that, and now Pretty Prime is getting caught out in the jungle.
That's another Spirit of the Nine Winds that doesn't quite connect onto his intended target, but Draco Marino, looking for more, is going to leap on in. Kalas is going to escape the 4-man dive, but I think they could have gotten it done with less. And this is methodical, and this is something sort of Mifflin brought up in our last game, is Mr. Crunchy is going to get locked down here, and Marcus snags the kill. There are so many non-respawning objectives still on the map that has gone by the wayside. Chekio can rejoin these fights very quickly with that ultimate, so certainly can't count him out. Okeanos, you shouldn't be within reaching distance of that Freya, and he realizes that for the 5th time this game as Warchi finds the solo kill. Still a tier 2 fight going on the right-hand side of this map.
At 34 minutes, that's a winnable game for Freshly Forged. This is a 0.2% chance of victory in my mind for Freshly Forged. We're in that.
Yeah, you like calling them 1%ers. This one is probably less than that. 2 more members fall from Freshly Forged, and a Fire Giant secured to boot from the Papis. Right side has the minions pushing in, so it's looking like the primary target here for the Papis. 2 members down from Freshly Forged with 20 seconds and some change on those respawn timers. And if Papis find an engagement, this could just be game, and it might be anyway, aggro. 5 members barreling down, looking for the Titan, who shreds out of the ice. Blink in from Fails, finds 5 members with that Fear No Evil, but they have no damage to return. This is looking like game. Spirit of the Nine Winds has no peel. And 18 minutes in, the Papis blow Freshly Forged out of the water.
That is as
plenty of physical power. Do you like the way Freshly Forged have drafted here around that Freya? You sort of talked about you need a specific comp to slot in. Do you think Freshly Forged have done that?
I don't know. I mean, I'm a little bit worried about their ability to get towers if they do get a lead, because they don't have a very good tower killer. Chilling. Maybe we can get some invades off, go to the enemy back camps if we can, because he should just be a little bit too mobile for Mr. Crunchy to really kill him.
Okeanos taken low and taken down as Marcus. Instead, it's the Papis who find that early jungle pressure into the long lane. On the start if you're freshly forged. Certainly not dire at the moment with the 700 or so gold lead. Marcus is locked down, so the gold lead could sway one way or the other. A couple locked in with the chains, and he might pull back in Mr. Crunchy, but Marcus is going to drop down and try to disengage from this fight. Fails, comes crashing down into the back line, but it's a one-level lead for Marcus and Draco Marino. He's there for a little bit of peel, but fails, uses the beads, and turns around the damage. Marcus goes down. Creed right there in range. Could turn around some damage of his own, but fails some good sidesteps. Chekio drops the Huyi ultimate, but it's Draco Marino instead who swings his way back and grabs the kill. Mr. Crunchy is able to grab some damage onto Draco Marino, but Pretty Prime is here to play. Chekio low. Chekio jumps out. It looks like that's all she wrote. A 2 for 1.
100%. So you're chilling when it comes to playing dodgy late game. I think both teams are very medium with this game going late.
Right. Well, Marcus was chilling, but back around the corner is going to drop some chains, but does not connect onto anybody, so maybe a well-thought-out gank, but fails is there for the counter gank. Draco Marino has to burn the disengage. Marcus caught between a rock and a hard place, and Okeanos rotates and finds the kill. Warchi was maybe on a rotation, but thinks twice of it, makes his way back over into that long lane, but suddenly fails, and Okeanos deep in the Poppy side of the jungle near this red buff, and they're going to try to find some extra kills for their favor. 4 members of Freshly Forged in. Spirit of the Nine Winds connects on the Collis, chunks down. And Okeanos with a kill on the board here. I mean, you know, I guess that's where you want your Freya to be about 10 minutes in. You know, in an ideal world, you have 3 kills on the board. Back to that in just a moment as Fails finds the ultimate down onto Draco Marino. Chekio deleted by Pretty Prime as he looks to disengage from the fight. Marcus takes to the pillar. But he's got 4 members of Freshly Forged awaiting his downfall. Pulls in 3. It's a beautiful ultimate from Marcus.
Forged up in a far better spot. This game was over, effectively, at this point last time. It's been a big difference so far as Warchi decides he doesn't want to be on the map anymore. So I'm just going to run forward and face check gold all by myself. Draco was coming on the long flank, so needed to come in by himself and got deleted for it.
Could be bad to worse here if you're the Poppies. Gold Fury started up down to about half health. Mr. Crunchy is playing Peel, but 3 members of the Poppies are looking towards him. Freshly Forged are able to lock down that Gold Fury. Creed unable to escape. Draco Marino looking to burn down Mr. Crunchy, who is moving into that front line position as Chekio moves his way back into that middle lane. Marcus, man, I think he has just had a tough time. Every time I've seen that ultimate, it's been on the defensive side, more recently in the solo lane, so he doesn't have it here. Might get dropped down upon by fails. Draco Marino instead turns around the damage. Some peel from Warchi sends the Spirit of the Nine Winds through and makes Freshly Forged think twice. All of a sudden, the Poppy's on a tear. Find 2 kills. They only lose 1 member. It's a small win, but maybe a win nonetheless as we stand.
Beautiful fight by the Poppies, and it's really just a little bit of an overextend.
As I mentioned, he is now about 1 level down. You look at how he's itemized up to this point. We were wondering maybe if there was too much magical power for Freshly Forged. We'll be able to touch on that point in just a second as Fails has ganked the long lane. Chekio finds a kill elsewhere. Fails makes good on the presence that he brought into that long lane, but it is a 1-for-1 trade. Map-wise, the Poppies pull 1 back, but how are you itemizing here?
It's a hedge against that physical damage. It also gives him the cooldown that he really wants. And from here on out, let's focus on magical defense, I think is the call. It's a beautiful stun by Chekio. Actually gets the beads out from Fails, but he's still in trouble.
Oh, that's a great dunk down from Fails. Locks down a couple, gets himself and Kalas both a kill on the board. So Freshly Forged, you know, they had been stumbling over the last couple.
It's very good because getting block sets against those auto attacks is really what you're looking for up against those types of characters, and...
No way!
No.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. Draco Marino tosses in the 1 and steals away the Fury.
This is what I'm talking about, man! You body block the Fafnir hammer. It doesn't do AoE damage. He just walked up slowly and hammered, and he stole it. I don't care about this solo kill. This is absurd. I know they're probably going to win this game anyways, but they don't deserve to. No team that gets gold stolen by a hammer deserves that. What is going on?
Well, you know, at least they're winning the fight here in the middle lane, and that is maybe even up for debate as it's a 2-for-2. A big swing, though, for the Poppies as Draco Marino just standing there menacingly was enough to secure that Fury. Taken low, though, so some reparations from Freshly Forged as the fight after the Fury. Goes 3 for Pilaf, this Pyromancer. Aggro, you loved watching it the first time, and maybe going to get a chance to look at that steal a second time as Pyromancer is going to get finished off by Freshly Forged.
Do we have to?
Is.
Look, man, if he jumps, that's one thing. If he jumps, that's fine. That's totally cool. Like, I'm down with that. I don't know, bro. I don't know, except for the one that has pen. It's going to be tough, man. It's going to be tough for him to kill these frontliners, but maybe he's just looking for the objectives. The Papis trying to sneak this fire.
Look at this call. The Fire Giant starts up, but a couple members of Freshly Forged back in range. Spirit of the Nine Winds secures the Fire Giant for the Papis. What a call as Marcus finds a kill as well. Kalis on the escape. Oni for FG. Poppy
in the build, so he's not a threat to Mr. Crunchy or Kalas at all.
Draco Marino is going to pop that team stim. Look how low the left side Phoenix taken down almost immediately. Creed solo in the backline. Spirit of the Nine Winds soars on through. And Chekio drops some shards down to secure the kill onto Mr. Crunchy. Fails just looking for an exit strategy, and he finds one, but Marcus a little bit too far forward. There's no Phoenix there left on defense, and that may have had the Papis a little bit overconfident. They've lost a couple members. Draco Marino is able to burn down Fails on the re-engagement. Chekio back into a corner, and they're going to hope to finish off the kill. They haven't taken him down yet. He gets out alive. Draco Marino, the sacrificial lamb there for the Papis. 3 members down for the Papis, but they secure themselves a left side Phoenix. Warty, no pen, no problem. Doesn't quite matter onto Pretty Prime, maybe. That's the first kill on the board for this Kukul around this left-hand side, and the dance will commence here with Marcus being aggressed upon by Kalas. Instead, it's Draco Marino with 4 members of Freshly Forged around him. Going to take the transformation down to about half of his health. Warchi in the middle with Chekio on the left-hand side. Crunchy tries to find the damage, but Chekio is able to jump out. Okeanos in the back line getting destroyed by Creed, who shuts him down. Spirit of the Nine Winds flies through. It's a 5 versus 4 advantage now if you're the Papis. Pretty Prime taken low by Marcus, but fails way in the back line by the Papis. Blue buff is able to take one back onto Chekio. So it's Hunter for Hunter here. Poppy's still potentially looking for a rotation and maybe a fight.
And I don't think they know where Fails is. He's still lurking. Blood Shield still on him for a little bit, and Warchi is looking like a snack.
Pretty Prime instead gets some damage onto Marcus, so the fight rages on here with Fails. Some cooldowns available, jumps on in, but gets locked down just a little bit. Swirls around, Creed plenty tanky and plenty healthy enough to shrug off that damage. So Marcus gets taken down. And that's maybe all she wrote here. So no Fire Giant, and the question is answered. Freshly Forged are going to move out and try to defend.
And they do so successfully. They're going to have plenty of time to get this left side Phoenix back up. A couple things that fight. Draco just gets a great horrific emblem really early in that engagement, but he's way too far from everybody.
They have relied on Draco Marino for a lot of their engage. If you're the Papis, you've had him jump in, burn some of those actives, attempt to slow down some of Freshly Forged. There is some deep ward coverage, so Freshly Forged finds some of the rotation. Draco Marino first in, but first out as well. Creed has found himself in the back line. Colossal Fury doesn't save you from that. A nice shell as well from Freshly Forged, just to shrug off some damage. Marcus takes to the skies, but so does Fails, and he's found Chekio in the back line. But a beautiful Spirit of the Nine Winds helps heal for the Papis mid laner. They pull back 1 kill as Fails goes down, but 3 members of the Papis limping away from the fire pit. A bit of gold and maybe some speed back to the Fire Giant should they choose to go back, but instead they're just going to look at the enhanced Fire Giant. They burn it quickly down to half health. Spirit of the Nine Winds could be used to confirm, and it does. Fire Giant locked down by the Papis. Plenty of damage on the back end as well. Fails has looked for the engagement and has only found death in the back line as the Papis look to continue their onslaught. Creed makes his way in. 4 members trying to disengage with their lives for Freshly Forged. I'm not sure they're going to be able to do it. That hastened Katana swinging away for Vamana. Okeanos turns around to kill, so not all is lost just yet for Freshly Forged. Pretty Prime snags one as well, but low mana, low health equals death if you're a Merlin. 3 for 3 trade. Fire Giant looking to just stay on. A couple members of the Papis. Marcus falls as well. Draco Marino, the lone member left alive with the FG.
Really big deal. He's got a little bit of CDR. Should have about 30% if he's got a purple pot. Or I guess they're not purple pots anymore, but a red pot. Still scary.
Well, the Papis have a slight advantage for a couple of seconds until Mr. Crunchy is able to teleport back into this fight, but Spirit of the Nine Winds locks down Kalas 5 versus 4 advantage. Mr. Crunchy is now joined to the fight, and the Papis are plenty low, but the damage isn't quite confirmed yet. A 3 for 2 as we stand as Pretty Prime pulls one back, but enough damage from Draco Marino sends the 2 carries of Freshly Forged a running. Warchi taken down, Chekio is down as well, so on one team, if you're Freshly Forged, you only have your 2 carries. If you're the Papis, you're missing your 2 carries. Could be the opening here. Teleport is back up, and Mr. Crunchy is going to cancel his back. Fire Giant started is going to cause that change of mindset. Creed, free fight in the backline here for himself. Fire Giant locked down by the Papis this time. Up into the air, off to the side is Fails. Where does he choose to engage? Doesn't find anyone with the slam. Instead, Marcus is taken low, and Pretty Prime confirms the damage. Creed turns one right back around. Both junglers gone for both teams, but that's 4 members strong with the Fire Giant here for the Papis. Kalis locked down, Kalis taken down. The Papis, for the first time in a few minutes, have given themselves an advantage. 2 members likely to fall. Freshly Forged down just to Pretty Prime aggro. That could just be the game.
And the left side Phoenix fell to those minion waves all the while. That will be game. A deicide for the Papis in a hard-fought victory. Certainly much harder than their 18-minute game number 1, but Freshly Forged just can't quite get the job done. I think that the composition for the Papis certainly looks a little bit stronger towards this stage of the game. Prime was putting out phenomenal damage in the late game, but Okeanos really just couldn't afford to match it. Fails not finding the right target with that ultimate was huge in that team fight because it took a lot of the